And welcome back to the Profitable Author Podcast. And this is a place where we discuss data driven book marketing that works. And this is our fifth episode, right?
I think so, yeah. Number
Yeah,
five.
our fifth episode. So today we are going to talk about hang on. Last episode we talked about reviews, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to expand on reviews and talk about other credibility factors, which is like editorial reviews, awards, and more, which we'll get into. But before we get into it, okay, a little bit of background or behind the scenes. Julie and I were talking about what do we talk about naturally at the beginning of this. And we tossed around some ideas and we're like, I'll just figure it out. And we just hit record. So we'll get into the topic of the week soon, but it's getting cooler now out, at least up here in Canada. Is it down there too?
Yeah, so yesterday I finally turned the AC off and the heat
Okay.
on, which, it's October in Oregon, so I may reverse that again. But we finally got, okay, our high is below 70 now. We're getting down into the 40s in the morning. So heading towards fall.
Yeah, well, you know what? I actually just recently figured out because I'm in a sublet right now because like situation is complicated in terms of living conditions. But my air conditioner hasn't been working like all summer,
Oh
and
my
I'm kind of
gosh.
a wuss when it comes to the heat too. It doesn't get that hot here. I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but it probably gets up to like 27, 28 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but
Yeah, I don't either.
the apartment has stayed at like 22 Fahrenheit or Celsius like the whole summer. So I barely even noticed. It's one of these newer buildings that has like won awards for like I don't know efficiency and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah, you probably have good insulation and stuff.
yeah, I would say so too. But yeah, it's getting cooler out. Halloween. Do you take your kids out trick or treating? Are they too old for that? Or
No, no, they're in prime trick or treating mode, and we usually bring my parents' dachshund and dress it up like a hot dog. So that's a big hit. Yeah,
is it? Yeah.
our neighborhood is one of those places where they people like bus their kids in and drop them off. So we go through two massive Costco bags of candy every year. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, yeah. Those places. We get to the topic in just a moment here, but yeah, I could talk about Halloween for a long time. Uh yeah, yeah. We took the son our son to uh trick or treating last year, and yeah, he just goes crazy, goes cuckoo over it.
Yep.
And it's this whole thing, and I just can't wait for this year. It's always those houses that give out like the full size chocolate
Oh
bars,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
And of course you have to take the parent tax too, right? Like, oh, you're not gonna like these ones. These are too spicy.
Yep. Exactly.
I'll take these ones from you. Yeah. All right, let's get to the topic of the week. So
Great.
again, building credibility beyond reviews. Um,
So, yeah, why do you think credibility is such a key factor for indie authors when they're trying to stand out?
oh, okay. So I see here. So we have all these questions. Okay. So we're starting from there. Okay. I gotcha. The
Did
different
I mess it
segments.
up again?
No, you didn't mess it up. I'm thinking, you know what? We'll start with that question, and then we'll go down to right down to segment four, and just
Great.
do those questions. That's what I was looking at. I was looking at the other segment.
Got it. I thought, yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was the opposite.
Okay. No, no, yeah. No, it's all good. Yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll do this question, then go down to segment four and do those questions. Yeah.
Great.
Um, so why do I think credibility is such a key factor for indie authors trying to stand out in today's market? Well, the biggest thing is that we don't have the name yet, right? So we need to tell people or show them in some way that we are worthy of their money, but more importantly, their time,
Yeah.
right? Like we forget that a lot. That hey, I am going to dedicate. It's sort of like a date, right? Like, hey, am I going to go on a date with this person and dedicate an hour or 2 hours and interacting with this person for that long, right? this person seems kind of annoying, not really my style, like that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I can only get with them, or I can only like hang out with them for 10 minutes max before I get annoyed, right? So, but we're here committing, saying, hey, we want you to spend 5 to 15 hours with my vision, right? Yeah, it's 299, 399, 499, 1099, whatever it is, right? And we need to be able to convince them, not convince them. That sounds like kind of scummy, but make them feel comfortable to be able to spend that time with us and our vision and our story. So we do that two ways. When people are going to our book pages, they ask themselves consciously or subconsciously two questions. Uh, is this book any good, and will I enjoy this book? So, will I enjoy this book is primarily answered in the blurb and the look inside, that sample that they can read. And is this any book? And is this any good? Is answered by yes, the Amazon reviews that we talked about last week in the previous episode, and other credibility factors. So, those other credibility factors, there's probably a bunch that we can name off, but the two primarily being editorial reviews and awards. So that is why credibility is so important. We need to be able to answer that question: is this book any good? I.e., is it worth potentially? Now they don't have to obviously read the whole book. They don't have to go on the whole date. They can leave 20 minutes in, right?
Right.
But like, hey, is this like worth my time giving it a chance? And that helps answer that question. Do you have anything to add on to that?
Yeah, I mean, I usually picture it in terms of, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I picture it in terms of when someone lands on your page, there's still a certain amount of friction that you have to overcome to get them to buy your book. And for lack of a better term, editorial reviews and awards can be sort of an extra lubricant that helps people just get over the hump of this seems like something that's worth spending my money and time on. So in that sense, I think they can really play a big part when you're starting out, particularly, and getting people to take that leap, to take that chance on an indie author.
Yeah, absolutely. And even to before we go on to the next question, segment four, question one, I think it might be worthwhile mentioning even the editorial reviews, that some pros and cons of editorial reviews, and where we've noticed from coaching over 350 authors what people are the expectations are with these editorial reviews. So a lot of people will, not a lot of people, but some people will come to me and say, JD, you're a god among book marketers. You have it all figured out, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? And I say, yeah, thank you. I hear that all the time. What's your question? No. uh, no, they'll say, hey, I got an editorial review and it did nothing for my sales.
Yeah.
So very, very, very seldom, I would say probably almost never. Get an editorial review from, let's say, Reader's Favorite or Literary Titan or these other places will lead to more sales. It never will. It never will. I don't think, it might happen. It might be one or two sales or a few sales. But really, it's not going to be like this avalanche of sales. Really, what we're getting for is that credibility. And really what from that is snippets that we can use and place strategically in our A plus content, or our editorial review section on the Amazon page, or in the blurb, or in our marketing materials, that says, hey, so and so from this place, this credible place, said this about my book. So it's really leveraging what we already have. So in terms of, hey, editorial reviews, if I get an editorial review, my sales will start pouring in. It will never happen.
No.
It will never happen. So just keep in mind that, hey, these editorial reviews that we get will not lead to a poor sales, and will very rarely end up on Amazon itself as well as like an actual starred review on Amazon. What else did you notice, if anything, when it comes to expectations about like editorial reviews, let's say?
Yeah, well, in some cases, I think the editorial review sites sort of contribute to the delusion that, okay, this is going to lead to a lot more sales. Some of them are like, oh, we'll post it on our website and we'll put it on our socials and all that. It's like no one's looking at those websites. No one's
Yeah.
ever heard of these companies. The value, like you said, of getting an editorial review is being able to snippet the parts of it that you like, that you think help sell your book, and then using them strategically in your marketing material and on your Amazon page. And that in that way, they can help lead to more sales. But just getting an editorial review on its own is it's not a sales technique. It's just another way you can make your marketing better.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the place that I recommend is Reader's Favorite to get those editorial reviews. Reader's Favorite and Literary Titan.
Yeah.
I've talked to authors, I've done them myself. And there's no shortage of places for editorial reviews. Like, there's probably hundreds out there. Like,
Yeah.
hey, pay us, we'll read your book and we'll say something nice about it, basically. Right? Like, that you can use for leverage.
Yes.
Um, yeah, yeah. So those are the two places that I've noticed give the best bang for the buck in turnaround time as well. Let's talk about awards. What do you think about the expectations of awards? What are some of the thoughts on that?
I have a very specific philosophy about book awards, which is that the award itself just doesn't matter at all. I mean, unless we're talking about the Caldecott Medal, unless we're talking about a Pulitzer or like something that has wide is widely recognized, has carries a lot of prestige or a lot of money with it. Otherwise, no one's ever heard of most award programs. They don't know whether an award from Literary Titan is as good as an award from some other bigger place, let's say. So for me, in my books, the purpose of getting awards is not for prestige. It's not for, oh, I'm so proud I won this particular contest, or, my book performed this well in this particular area. It's more like getting my grubby little hands on something that says award and sticking that on my Amazon page and having people see this is an award winning book. Then I can use it in my marketing. Then I can use it, on Amazon itself to build that credibility, to reduce the friction. Um, I maybe am cynical about it, but I really don't care where my awards come from, and they don't really mean anything particularly to me, other than this is just something I can use to help people know, okay, an outside source, a professional source thought this book was high quality enough to give it a review. Therefore, I am safe. I'm safer taking a chance on my time and money.
Yeah, I like the way you worded that too in terms of the friction, right? Like there's different kinds of awards too. Like there's the awards that you just get um like an award and like a what is it called? I remember it's like an emblem or something. A seal.
A
A
seal,
seal.
yeah,
Yeah, you got a seal that you could sort of leverage and put in your A plus content. It looks fancy and official and all that sort of
yeah,
stuff. But there's also awards out there that have like cash prizes. I never recommend those. That usually like much more expensive as well. Like a typical award, like an application to an award might be like between $50 and $120 for like the non-cash ones, and the cash ones are like above that, right?
yes,
I'm a little bit more leery of those ones. Like, first of all, before I recommend or before I go any further, I recommend Book Award Pro to vet those awards because there's no shortage of where there's money to be made. There's going to be like people with bad intentions out there, right?
yes,
It's not just for the publishing space, but I recommend Book Award Pro. Um, 'Cause, I've met Hannah and her partner there who run it, and legit people like looking to do good things, and actually legitimately try to help authors. I actually contributed to their blog, a year or two ago. So they're actually legitimate people, and I like meeting people sort of in person. To be like, hey, are you legitimate? Do you actually care before I start recommending
right.
people to you, right? But that's one that I do recommend. But yeah, and I don't always recommend the cash prizes for the awards. I don't know. It's just more expensive, bigger risk. I don't know, and more options for scamminess. I just don't love those. But you're right. Just getting a few awards, putting them strategically can help reduce that friction as well.
Yeah. And it's fun to be an award-winning author, right? Like
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
just a nice boost to the ego.
And if it's not a boost to the ego, what are we even here for? You know,
Exactly.
what are we doing this for even? What's the point?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Yeah,
What's it all been for?
exactly. Okay, question for you, Julie, because I'll
Yeah.
be sort of like going a little bit all over the place here. How important are endorsements or blurbs from other authors?
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
I have kind of I have mixed thoughts on it. Um, Generally, this is something that's good to have. You could put it
Yeah.
on your A+ content because it's coming from a professional source, which would be a peer, another author. If the author has any clout at all, of course, it's a very good thing to have. Let's say you somehow have persuaded a titan of your genre to blurb your book. Awesome, good for you. That's going to add quite a bit of credibility to your books starting out. But is that a realistic thing for most indie authors? No. What is realistic is networking with other authors who are, in a similar place, helping each other out by, exchanging editorial reviews or blurbing someone else's books. The Those to me, they don't have quite as high a value as the proper editorial reviews, but in some ways they have more credibility because let's say a reader is looking and they see, okay, someone from Reader's Favorite or Literary Titan, wrote a review on this, but oh, I also see that this other author that writes this genre liked it. So that might carry more weight with certain people. It's not something really I've ever gotten into personally. I don't know if you have any experience with, other authors blurbing stuff.
Very limited experience. I think it can, if we're talking like comparing it against like editorial reviews, it can really, really overtake editorial reviews. If somebody goes to your page and says, oh, so and so said this about the book, and I've read so and so's books as well.
Exactly.
That's when it could be like, okay, that is like, no question, like far better than an editorial review. Now, the question would be like, would an editorial review hold more quote unquote weight, or a blurb from somebody says, hey, this is the greatest book of the year and blah, blah, blah. And then it says author of this series. And the person doesn't recognize this series. Does that give it more credibility if it's another author of a series, even if they haven't read it before, than an editorial review? I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be a
It's
case
it's
study.
another Yeah, it's another one of those things that it's like if you can get it, take it.
Oh, yeah.
Every bit of extra credibility you can get, take it. But I would say the other author blurbs are much harder to come by than an editorial review. Um,
Yeah, I would say so too. And I think you're right in terms of the networking with other authors, going to events, or we have a community as well where there's some authors doing some really big things. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's the opportunity for that as well. And then sometimes even asking, and just like if you ask people or if you approach them the right way, you never know what kind of answer you're going to get.
yes.
So one example I was working with one woman in a nonfiction book, and she was at an event, and Jack Canfield was there, the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul,
Oh my
and
gosh.
that series. So she asked him for like an endorsement, editorial review, or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." She got
That's
an
crazy.
editorial review from him, right? Like, and maybe he's sort of famous for giving like sort of reviews like this or something. Who knows? But
Yeah,
um, just went up and asked him. So you never know. You don't know until you ask, right?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah. Yeah, we'll do number three there, the professional
All right.
membership.
So, are professional memberships like Ally or IBPA meaningful to readers, or is it more industry clout than reader clout?
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Ally and BIP or IBPA, this stands for Alliance of Independent Authors and the Independent Book Publishers Association. So I'm part of Ally as a service provider. So we can publish the business is part of Ally. And the reason why I did that, well, one of the reasons, well, I'll be straight up, the main reason is for credibility,
Yeah.
right? Because they have in there the service providers rankings, and I really like it. It's free for anybody to go to. So if you go to Alliance of Independent Authors service rankings, you could see and you could search for different business names, and they'll give you like, oh, this one is flagged for these reasons. Use caution for these reasons. This one is recommended. So I was actually like vetted by them. So I have like the top status on the Alliance of Independent Authors. So I'm with or like the business Weekend Publisher is part of Ally purely out of credibility. Now, would a reader see, hey, this author is part of Ally or IBPA? Would it be meaningful to them? Would they even notice it? I have mixed thoughts on this. Would you use it in the blurb or the A plus content? You wouldn't use it anywhere there. Where would
No.
you use it? In the author bio? I think it would be, in terms of credibility, not so much. In terms of community and staying on top of things and maybe, getting some specials, I guess just be part of any association. Why is anybody part of an association?
Yeah.
I guess is the question. But in terms of credibility, I think if you become like a really well known author, maybe people are going to your author bio and maybe they're considering buying the rights to your audiobook or buying the rights to your another book. Maybe if you're part of or you're trying to get like a traditionally published deal eventually, maybe seeing that might give you a little bit of extra credibility, you know? But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's not in this industry particularly. I can't see it ever really being a factor in a consumer decision for
Yeah,
buying your book. But in terms of industry credibility, particularly, yes, if you are wanting to go the trad publishing direction, or you're thinking of making other business arrangements within the world, having that extra little boost of credibility could be important, and it's important for networking and that kind of credibility. But in terms of like book sales, I don't really think. I mean, I it's not that I there's no evidence to say that anyone would care about it.
for sure, for sure. Um, did we just use our Ally and IBPA sponsorship?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. We're probably going to lose a lot of sponsorships. Not that we have any, but we sponsor ourselves. We sponsor ourselves. So weekendpublisher.com. If you want to work with us, hello at weekendpublisher.com.
Yeah.
Just in the title, put want to work with you or what are our options. And then down in the show notes as well. I don't think I've even mentioned this yet. We have a profitable author blueprint. It's only $7. So if you want sort of an intro overall to what the path looks like to be a profitable author by the numbers, not just guessing, then pick that up. That'll be the best $7 you'll have ever spent. One more question in the lightning round.
Great.
Julie, if you had to give one piece of advice to an author starting from zero credibility, where should they begin?
Editorial reviews, like hands down, that's my advice. It's relatively cost effective. I mean, reader's favorite, you can get 3 editorial reviews for like $120 or something. Literary Titan, it's like 60 or $70. That's a very small price to pay for a large amount of credibility when you're starting out. Slap that snip it right at the top of your blurb on Amazon, and you're already ahead of most indie authors, I would say. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say Reader's Favorite is probably the best bet as well. We'll link down Reader's Favorite in the show notes also, so it's easy to find. But yeah, I would say that that is probably the easiest step outside of reviews, which we covered in the
Right.
previous episode. But editorial reviews would be like the next like really low hanging fruit. We didn't even really talk about Kirkus. Oh, that's in the lightning round. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kirkus. Yeah, so that's in the lightning round. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. But that's the best piece of advice for sure, and just going with the right expectations.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, lightning round.
Yes.
All right, so question, then we'll say whether it's credible or questionable in one sentence. Ready?
Okay. I want to do the Kirkus one. So let me ask you the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. So you answer credible or questionable and then one sentence. It can't be a run-on sentence. Like you can go on a long time running.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Paid editorial reviews.
Credible. Yeah. That's almost all editorial reviews are going to be paid. So just
Yeah.
make sure you get a good service. All right. Kirkus Indie reviews.
Questionable. Mostly because they charge really, really hard price. Trying to make this one sentence. They charge really high prices. And does the reader know a difference between a reader's favorite and a Kirkus? Does
Nope.
Kirkus have that brand value that justifies the massive amount that they charge for the editorial reviews? And right now, I would say no. So I do not recommend it. Okay, Julie, Amazon verified purchase reviews.
Credible. There's high gold standard. They cross marketplaces. Yes. Credible, credible.
Yeah, that's like a gimme. Like, come on. Like, who would say
Yeah.
that's questionable? All right.
All right. Reader's favorite.
Credible for the reasons that we outlined before. Good turnaround time, good investment. I like it. I think they do good work. Okay, Julie, award contest with $100 plus entry fee.
Questionable. Not usually worth the money.
Good.
All right. Number one bestseller stickers from subcategories.
Credible, but with a caveat. As long as the subcategory is relevant to your book and it's
Yes.
not subcategory like miming. There's a category of miming, and those books sell like a book every 2 weeks. Like that's the best selling in the category,
Yeah.
right? So as long as it's not in the category of miming, it's credible.
Yeah.
A blurb from another indie author.
Credible. Yeah. I mean, it helps more if they're more well known in your genre, and it helps if they're in your genre, but generally credible.
Yeah, good.
Uh, Press releases announcing awards.
Press releases announcing awards. Wow. So we have credible, questionable. I'm gonna add a third one in there. Waste of money.
Yep. Yep.
Um, no, just no, no. I maybe we'll have another session on press releases, but no.
Yeah. If you like wasting money, why don't you just light it on fire and have a nice, toast some marshmallows? But that you'd get more out of it than a press release.
Yes. Okay. We lost our sponsorship for the press release. People out there too. Okay. Review swaps between authors.
Ooh, I'm gonna go questionable on this
Yeah.
because they could be good or they could be bad. Um, Amazon's savvy; it knows when you're doing black hat stuff, so just keep it kosher and honest. And yeah, I don't like doing it though.
Yeah, it goes against Amazon's terms of service.
Yeah.
And yeah.
playing for a blue check mark on social media.
I don't know, man. No. I
Yeah.
mean, like questionable. No. I just. Well, it gets to the bigger question of what social media platforms are we like engaging on,
Yeah.
and we're not big social media advocates except for advertising, uh, purely in terms of efficiency and impact. So I'd say no. Julie, book bloggers with small but loyal followings.
Oh boy.
I know.
I'm not into book bloggers. So I'm going to
Right.
say questionable. If you actually get one with a loyal following, maybe. But yeah, good luck.
Yeah,
Posting screenshots of reviews on Instagram.
sure. There's nothing wrong with that. I would say credible. I would say not just on Instagram, but on the Facebook page would actually be better.
Yeah.
So not so much on Instagram, the Facebook page, because when we're running advertising, some people will might click on your profile and see those screenshots and give you
Yes.
some credibility. So I like it. Um, Julie, entering every award contest out there.
Boo. Questionable. You don't need everyone. There's diminishing returns after two, is my feeling. So, no, don't do it.
I would agree, two or three. We've had some authors that have applied for like 10 to 15 award contests, and it just gets like, oh man, like it's too much.
Yeah.
Like
Who cares?
it's too much, you know? Yeah. Okay. How do you think today went?
Oh, I think it
This
went
session.
just flawlessly. Yes, there were no hiccups at all. We did great.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been a busy week.
Yes.
There's been a lot of people sort of wanting to work with us and different shifts and all this sort of stuff. So, I mean, it's been a busy week. It's been a good week, but it's been a busy week. And tomorrow's Friday, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then Thanksgiving up here in Canada,
Oh,
which is different than the U.S. Thanksgiving. So
do you have, is it on the same day of the week every year? Or is it on the date? So we have ours just on a Thursday every year.
I don't know. I don't know. I it's the same day every year,
Same
so
day.
it's on the
Okay.
Monday. Yeah, and from what I could tell from research, why do we? Because you guys in the U.S. you have a reason to celebrate Thanksgiving Day,
Yes.
right? We don't have any sort of backstory like that. The best guess, from what I did in my research, is we only do it because you guys do it, but we do it on a different day. So it's like kind of lame. Yeah.
I've always thought it was. I mean, I love Thanksgiving because it's just about food, and yeah, like who doesn't love that? But like, it is funny. Or we're basically celebrating our inability to farm correctly and needing help.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. Do you guys have like? Do you do the turkey, mashed potatoes, that whole
All
thing?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So same food,
Yeah.
even.
Sometimes ham or whatever,
Yeah.
just mix it up a little bit. But all right. Well, again, if you want to work with us, hello at weekendpublisher.com. And we do have that profitable author blueprint in the show notes as well. And we will see you next week.
See ya.